friends, and welcome to All the Things TV, where we discuss full living and goal-getting with the grace and gifts God gives, and a focus on small wins, simple strategies, and successful relationships. And today, I have with me one of the coolest people that I know, a dear friend of mine, Stephanie O'Hara. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, hello. So excited to have you on here. So if you haven't met Stephanie, let me tell you just a little bit about her. Stephanie O'Hara is an American mom, wife, writer, entrepreneur, community leader, and advocate for women experiencing challenges. She does all the things, right? I think it would be so neat to find out like a stat or something about all the hats that moms wear, all the roles that professionals and moms wear. So today I wanted to talk to Stephanie just because of all of her experiences, especially in the area of overcoming challenges, loss, even failures, things like that, because she has been on quite the journey, huh, Steph? Especially when it comes to growing her family. So after having her first son, Stephanie experienced secondary infertility and had 7 miscarriages before having her miracle twins. So let me just start us out by, I know that you've got 3 children at home. So sometimes I assume Disney is on. I like to ask some of these kind of different questions to just get to know you a little bit. So if you had to describe yourself as a Disney character, who would you say you were? Or your kids, who would your kids say you were?
Well, yes, Stella and Smith love Disney, especially Frozen. And it's actually my son, Smith, that's more Frozen obsessed than my daughter, Stella. So much so that they were actually randomly in a New York Times article about being Frozen obsessed a couple months ago.
That's amazing. I don't know. I'm going to have to check that out.
So I would say if I could pick any Disney character, it would be Elsa.
Love it.
Obviously because Stella and Smith love Elsa. It's Smith's favorite character. She's a very strong female character. She's a leader and she's always helping others. And, her time in isolation reminds me of infertility.
Yeah, for sure.
In a way. And so, you certainly feel isolated from others when you're going through that. And then, okay, I have to make one little joke. Stella and Smith are gifts through IVF. And so, they were frozen for 2 years. And I know, right? In the blastocyst, they were frozen in the blastocyst stage, which they were 5 days old. So just tiny little cells. And so I think that Elsa is who I would choose if I could be any Disney character.
I would have to agree with that. And I would have to say that she sings too.
Yes, that's true.
So you have been in a rock band for how long?
Yes.
So you're an amazing singer. Opera singer, right?
You're very sweet. I studied opera, yes, in high school and in college, and then kind of did a 180 and went in the rock direction and literally joined a garage band out of college. And that was in like 1996. And then my current band, Silver, we've been together for 21 years now. And we don't play nearly as much as we used to, because we're all married and have kids and life gets busy. But we try to play a couple of times a year just because it's so fun and we love it.
I love that. I want to get to one of your shows sometime really soon.
I know. I'll put you on stage with a tambourine.
See? Did you know I used to play the tambourine?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So when my dad used to be, back when I was a kid, my parents were youth pastors and my dad was like the music minister. And so I'm the little 5-year-old with the tambourine on stage.
I want to see video.
I don't think we had video back then.
Oh, whatever. I'm sure we could dig some up.
It's so funny. Well, I know part of your infertility story was a long time, right? 6 years and 7 miscarriages.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think all of us have gone through those periods of crushing is what I like to refer them to where you have these expectations. You know, you think life is going to be one way, and then you get thrown this curveball. So what are some of the lessons that you learned going through, you know, the failed fertility treatments and the miscarriages and things like that? Like what did you learn?
Well, the first thing that I learned, I would say, you know, coming out of it, now being on the other side and looking back in retrospect, never giving up hope. I think that's the biggest thing that I would encourage anyone to remember that's going through this is don't give up hope. And doctors are sometimes quick to take that away from us. And they're trying to, you know, do their job, but that's the one thing that they should never take away, especially in any medical circumstance. So keeping the faith. And, you know, I had a lot of loss, and probably the lowest point was miscarrying in the middle of church after I had felt like I had been so faithful and trusting, you know, to God. And that was my lowest point, but I still never turned my back on God, even though I wasn't super thrilled with him at the time. So that would be the biggest lesson. I probably have 30 or 40 different pieces of advice and lessons learned. But another thing that I would say that Dirk and I figured out was, obviously we wanted a big family, and I wanted to be able to, you know, carry my husband's babies. But look for loopholes. So even though I wasn't able to carry my twins, guess who was? This girl, Tiffany.
I don't think we said that yet.
No, Tiffany was my surrogate. So they are our biological children, and we, as we tell Stella and Smith, borrowed Tiffany's kangaroo pouch, and she's our special angel. So there's many paths to building your family. And, you know, for those that are truly wanting to become a mom or a dad, whether you're single or, you know, you're a couple, if you're open to the different paths and exploring the different paths, there's many ways.
Yeah.
Through surrogacy, through, you know, snowflake babies, you know, egg adoption, through fostering, just so many different options for families now. So look for loopholes and really think and pray, you know, what is your one desire at the end of all of this? And it's to have a child. And so, you know, pray that God will show you what your path is.
Yeah, I love that. Because I believe the same way that, you know, that each one of us has to go to the Lord to figure out what does he want us to do with the desires and the dreams and the goals that he put on our heart. And it looks different. It's unexpected. I was just watching a service on TV. Our pastor was doing a service because we're all doing online TV. And he was talking about how God does things the unexpected. Like when Jesus came riding in on Palm Sunday, you would have expected him to be on this chariot, on this big thing, and he was on the colt, a donkey's colt. You know, so God just does things in unexpected ways. And I think one of the saddest things I've ever heard a couple that I've worked with dealing with infertility is that they said, I wish we would have. Because sometimes we just get so closed and we see things that they need to happen a certain way. But God doesn't always do that. And it's actually kind of sometimes an adventure full of the ups, downs, and loopholes for sure.
Absolutely.
So I know I love to focus on small wins, like just the little things that we could do. So can you think of anything, what is like maybe a daily little thing that you did that made a big difference to maybe keep your hope or to just help you on that journey?
Well, I would say praying. And that has been central to our infertility journey. And just connecting with God. You know, God knows our heart's desires and he wants to give them to us. He wants us to trust in him, but he does not want us to be passive. And so it's one thing to pray and say, God, you know, I want a child or I want more children, and, you know, pray bold prayers. but he really, really wants us to be active in that. And so another little step that I took besides praying, um, I believed that I was worthy. And a lot of women that go through infertility, we go through, so I sat in a therapist chair for years, let's be honest, and learned a lot. And if I could share one thing, it's just that, we have feelings of, not all of us, but many of us, of shame, anxiety, sadness, grief, jealousy, envy, things that are very real, that are not easy to talk about. And so you really have to change your perspective and believe in your heart that you are good and that you are worthy, and start thinking positively. Kind of pick yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
dust yourself off, and believe that you're deserving. So that was something else. And it took some practice to change that mindset, and to, change, as I call it, just, when you're giving a vibration into the world, you want it to be positive, so that that it comes back to you in return. So that was something else.
Mm.
And then, of course, the third thing that I would say, is setting yourself up for success with science and with medicine. So, not just praying for a baby, but going to see a doctor, finding out what your options are, maybe getting a second opinion, and really just setting yourself up for success. So prayer, really believing that you're worthy, and then that science piece. Those three things are really what transcended me and my journey into getting my miracle babies.
I love it. They're such blessings. Um,
They are.
I love that, like the mix of the faith without works is dead. So it's God's part
Right.
and our part coming
Right.
together, his super with our natural coming together with
Yes.
for a supernatural result. So I love that. I know one of the things that you talk about a lot is the angels that came
Yeah.
into your life to help you. I think
Yeah.
our support system, our dream team are so huge no matter what we're doing, no matter what we were created for, what we were called to do. Like those people that are in our life for different reasons, different seasons, to help us along that journey. Like I just love when Smith and Stello call me like their special angel.
Yes, because you
Being
are.
being
You
able to
are.
be a surrogate and carry them. I mean, I can't even, words can't even describe like what that experience is like. But I know that there were many pieces, many angels along your journey that helped you and Dirk do what got put on your heart. So can you talk a little bit about finding those right people, and those angels, that dream team
Yeah.
in your life?
Sure. Sure. Absolutely. Well, I believe that God talks to us, in a very personalized way. So the way that Dirk, talks to God is very different than the way that I do. He hears the voice like Charlton Heston, in the Ten Commandments. He hears it when he's, praying in the morning. That's not me. I need signs. And at one point, and I talk about this in my book, I was so desperate. I did not know what to do or where to go. I prayed for a burning bush. And for me, it was angels in the human form. And obviously, Tiffany, you are one of my angels for life that I will always be friends with, connected with. You can't get along without me. I'm not going to let you go.
Nope.
But I also believe, if we're willing to look and pause and listen, I believe God sends people to us sometimes for just a moment, or like you were saying, or for a season, or for a reason. And I had a lady, that was in my Sunday school class. She came in for a year. She was very different than any of the rest of us. And I'll be very honest, most people didn't really connect with her, but I saw something in her, and we actually became very good friends. And she taught me how to pray, and I had never prayed out loud. And that is why she was sent to our Sunday school class, I firmly believe. And at that time, she taught me how to pray, and it was life transforming, life changing. And then she left. And so she was definitely an angel. Like I said, Tiffany, you are our biggest angel. We actually had a female pastor that was transferred into our church. We're Methodists, right before my infertility journey started. And she, Pastor Linda, is one of my angels as well. I have many friends, of course, that are angels to me and just were that, big support system. My sister, my mother, my friends. But I also had a life coach that was an angel. She's someone that I still talk to every month and helps me to keep that positivity going. So I had many, many angels. I even had a celebrity that was my burning bush that I prayed for. And I talk about that in the memoir and a blog on my website too, for anyone that's interested. It was Juliana Rancic, who, Tiffany, you and I got to actually meet and have kind of a full circle moment.
So cool.
After she was my burning bush. So yes.
Amazing. I just love it. I love hearing people's journeys and like those defining moments that God uses and the people that he uses. It's just so inspiring no matter what the journey is. We all have those moments. So you mentioned your memoir. Tell us about that, which I'm super excited. I know you sent me the e-copy, but I haven't even read it yet because I just can't wait to get the hard copy in my hands. But tell us about your memoir. Tell us a little bit about that, when it's going to be available, where people can find it, and what's in it.
Okay. It is called Angel Wings. As I just mentioned a few moments ago, there were so many angels that were sent to me during my infertility journey. And when I hired my life coach, after being in a counselor's chair for many years, I got tired of regurgitating all the grief and sadness and thought, I need to go in a different direction. I hired a life coach, and she asked me to give myself a nickname in our sessions. And so I had her call me Angel Wings. And so that is the name of the book. It comes out August of this year, 2020. And it will be available in hardback as well as paperback, and then of course online digital downloads. And it's a story of not only my infertility journey, but it's a story of love, of my marriage, of motherhood, of infertility, and then having that hope that we were talking about earlier, not giving up, even when the world tells us to, whether it's doctors or situations or friends or family that might, encourage you to stop. It's just about not giving up that hope and, finding loopholes and reaching your dreams, building your dream family.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think, where can they find you? Online. So your website is yourangelwings.net.
Right.
And then on Facebook, Angel Wings Steph, and on Instagram, Your Angel Wings. Is that right?
Instagram is Angel Wings Steph, and so is Twitter. And then Facebook is Your Angel Wings.
Right.
So.
Well, y'all need to check her out. She is so inspiring, has so many facets to her, one of those multifaceted mamas that we love to hear from, but just super practical, down to earth. And that's what I love about you, Steph. And I love that, you don't let no stop you. You don't let those obstacles stop you. I love that. Find the loophole, because if God's directing, there's going to be a loophole. So I just love that. So how would could you maybe just end us with if somebody right now is just struggling with hope or struggling with the infertility journey, can you just talk to them and just share a few sentences with them just to encourage them?
Well, gosh, put me on the spot, Tiffany. I would just say, I've walked in your shoes, and I know how sad and isolating and lonely and anxious and frustrated you can feel. And I just encourage you to hunker down in prayer. And God knows your heart's desires, but speak to him, talk to him, trust in him. And it's not about our timing, it's about God's timing. But my friend, do not give up hope. find that loophole, empower yourself, do those 3 things that we were talking about earlier, just setting yourself up for success by praying, by believing in yourself and that you're worthy, because you are. And then of course, finding a doctor, but just transcend and elevate your angel wings and start to fly higher and reach for better feeling thoughts. And when you do that, you'll be so amazed at what could happen. So don't give up hope.
I love that. Amen. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for being here. And friends, thank you for being here for another episode of All the Things TV. My name is Tiffany Jo Baker, helping you fuel and fulfill your faith journey through the ups and the downs. Now go do all the things that you were created to do with the grace and gifts that God's given you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.